Hey guys, it's Bruce here from Kai's Clan, and in this session we're going to look at collecting data from all the movements, all the sensors and everything we do within Kai's Clan. Now the first important thing to remember is that if you click on a robot, move myself up there and scroll down on map view, you can see the data, whether the grippers are open, what time. So we collect a timestamp and we collect all the information about the robot and any sensors attached to it, including its battery life. So let's get started, and I've got some sample code here, and we're going to move the robot a short distance, and we need to analyze that and measure it. So here we go, robot's moving, it's changing its angle, the direction it's traveling. So we collect the angle that the robot's traveling. So here you go, you can see we're collecting that in millimeters. We will have a setting later to change that for imperial and metric. Okay, so our code is just about finished and we're ready to just click export. So if you click on map view, you got this little Excel icon there, just click that and that'll dump the data down since the time we logged in to now. So we're going to be cleaning this data up a bit before we do any graphing on it. Let's enable editing. Here we go. Shift it around. So in here you can see we've got the robot sensor data, the robot positions and its battery life. So the first column that we have is the time. So under each of these sheets we've got the time. Right, so this time doesn't look like much, but what we need to do is we need to format this time into a format that is readable by Excel. So just highlight the column, say format cells and go custom, scroll down, and we want hours, minutes, seconds, because we want to monitor that. Or we could just go minutes and seconds. Let's do that. Okay, so now you can see the format hasn't actually changed, it hasn't been affected, and this is because when we bring this in, it's actually in a text format. So you need to convert that to numbers. So we click on data and click on text to columns and click finish. There we go. So we've got it. It's at 42 minutes and 12 seconds. So that's the time we captured it. I'm going to highlight that and click on home and click up my format painter. Click that. Go back to robot positions. I'm going to format paint that, and I'm going to also format paint the battery usage. Right, so now we also need to click on data to columns here. So data text to columns, click finish. That's formatted that, and the same goes to battery. So we just prepare our data. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to see at what time did we start moving. Well, here you can see over here we're starting to get some data of movement. So we moved 3 millimeters. If we move 1 millimeter, I would actually delete that, because with the camera we get a slight movement in the camera. This is not data we want to preserve. So let's just highlight all of that. The shift, actually, let's do this. Go down to there and then row 30 and delete that. So we know that we started collecting data at 44:57. So let's also clean up this one, 44:57 there. So we want to delete those rows. Whoops. Up to there. So we start analyzing our data from 44:57. This is ultrasonic distance sensor that we've got, and this is when we started collecting data. So let's graph this one first. And we're going to say insert in Excel and then click on our graph, and let's do this 2D area graph. So here you go, at the time at 44 at 57 seconds we were getting about 1,000 millimeters distance, and over here we're getting greater distance. So the closest object that we detected was at 45 minutes and 23 seconds. So we might say, okay, well, where were we there? So you got to think of some scenarios to analyze this data. Let's do the same for our robot positions. In our robot positions, you can see we're collecting the X, Y, the angle that the robot is facing, the distance it traveled from the last time it collected anything to the total distance the robot has traveled altogether. These are in millimeters. We do need to format this into, let's just format that and remove all the decimal points, so we can just use decrease decimal all the way. So we moved 4 millimeters there. Total distance since we started was 21. So I don't want the X and Y, so let's drag, whoops, let's drag this out of the way, and I just want to measure the distance we traveled. So let's do that. So select time and distance, go all the way to the bottom, selection, there we go, and let's oh, we don't want all these zeros, so let's look up, when did we start moving a lot over here? 7. Okay, so let's graph that. So go back to insert in the graphing, and we're going to choose a 3D line graph. Here we go. So here we go. You can see that the distance we traveled at each time. You might want to compare that with your ultrasonic distance. You might want to compare that with battery usage. So there's lots and lots of data you can use with KaiSclan. This is just a very short summary just to give you a taster on how to collect it and how to graph it. So I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget that this data is only collected while you're logged in to the browser, and it's collected on your device, on your computer or on your Chromebook or on your iPad, and then you can export that to Excel or Google Sheets or whatever you use. So until next time, happy coding and lots of data collection. See you.